So team, before we get started, just to let you know, batch 7 of DevSecOps and Cloud DevOps is open for enrollment now, and you can check it out. All the details of this course will be in the description, the syllabus and everything. Talking about this course, so many new things have been added in this course as compared to previous batches, like Python for DevOps and much more new projects. This course will be starting very soon, and the course will be going in such a way that we'll be having live sessions on weekends and recorded videos will be getting on weekdays, so that we can utilize the complete 7 days for this course. Okay. Plus, at the end of the course completion, there will be mock interviews for those who want to give mock interviews. Okay, so all the details will be in the description. You can check it out and you can enroll as soon as possible. Now, with that being said, let's get started. So team, now let us understand about Azure CLI, right? So in this session, you'll be able to learn how you can get started with writing Azure CLI commands easily. Okay. So what exactly is Azure CLI? So Azure CLI is a command line tool that is going to help you interact with your Azure cloud. Okay. And it will also going to help you create and manage resources in Azure cloud. Now, main thing that I said is like create and manage resource, okay, in Azure cloud. Now, this section manage resource, it's a very wide area because there are tons of things that can be done within this section, managing of resource. For example, let's say I have created a resource. What things we can do? We can modify it. In modification, for example, let's say I created an AKS cluster, okay, Azure Kubernetes cluster I created using Azure CLI. So when I say I need to modify, that means it is maybe it could be a requirement that I want to add more worker node, right? So that is like modification. That could be requirement that I want to delete a resource, correct? There could be requirement that let's say I have created 5 or 6 virtual machines and I have a requirement that I want to view all the list of resource. Then I want to see like who is using how much is usage being done, right, of those resources. So there could be so many different factors inside manage resources. Okay, that's why I'm saying it is Azure CLI is a tool specifically designed to create and manage resources, and there could be so many different things within this section manage resources. Okay, resources means what? When I say manage, create and manage resources, resources is nothing but different services within Azure cloud. It could be like, it could be simple as a virtual machine. It could be SQL database. It could be like app services or web apps, right? It could be like AKS clusters. It could be ACR, like any kind of service that exists within Azure cloud. We can create them and we can manage them using Azure CLI. One of the main reasons for using Azure CLI is that it's quite easy to do this, because let's say I have to create 5 VMs, right? So every time if I'm going on the user interface of Azure cloud, it's not very easy that I have to create 5 machines. Every time I'm going over the UI, clicking buttons, providing some names of the VMs and creating multiple VMs. Okay, these things can be easily automated, which I'll be showing you in a bit. So we can automate it in such a way that single time I can run Azure CLI command and it is going to immediately create 5 virtual machines. Okay. So this is like the main concept of Azure CLI. It's going to help you create and manage resources. In managed resources, we can do so many different things. Okay, which I'll be showing you in a bit. Okay. Now, it's very easy to write Azure CLI commands. How? Because you need to understand or you need to remember a format. The format is something like this. First you have to write AZ, then you have to write resource. Okay, resource specific kind. Okay, then action, and then there will be some parameters. Now, for example, let's say I want to create a virtual machine. So I will write in the way AZ VM create, and in parameter I can write like, let's say in which resource group I want to create, then resource group name, right? Then let's say I want to create in a specific location, so I will need to give the location. So you can see this is the main format that you have to remember, and it's not key, it's just for a virtual machine. This format will be applied to any kind of resource. For example, let's say I want to let's say create a AKS cluster, so I can write AZ AKS create. Let's say I want to delete AKS cluster, I can write AZ AKS delete, right? These are like very simple commands. That's what I'm saying. It's quite easy to understand. Some of you might be thinking, okay, Aditya, these things we can remember, right? But understanding what parameters we have to add, like do we have to add resource group name, do we have to add location, and what other things we have to add, how do we understand. Okay, so see, two options you will be having for this. So one option is that obviously if you are working with Azure CLI for quite long, you'll be getting a very good experience, and after some time you'll be like completely very comfortable remembering things. That is one thing. Second option, we have very interesting feature in Azure CLI which is known as Is it interactive? Okay, it's an amazing feature that is going to help you write the commands very easily. Okay, for example, let's say I have enabled this, I have enabled Azure Interactive, I have enabled this. Then what will be happening, a form something will be written on your like whatever terminal you are using, something like this. Okay, now let's say I wrote 𝗬𝗃. Now what AZ Interactive is going to do, it's going to give us suggestions like you can use create, you can use delete, like this kind of things. Let's say I chose create. Okay, after that it's going to give you suggestions again about the parameter options like resource group, location. So initially you can get help with AZ Interactive to write the commands. Okay, so this is the very general idea about how you can get started with Azure CLI. But let me show you more hands-on and real-time examples, the main commands that we use on regular basis, so that you can understand how exactly this Azure CLI is being used in companies. Okay, but before that, let me explain you some of the most important use cases of the Azure CLI. Okay, first, most important and the most common that we have is creation of cloud resources, right? Resources that we discussed, AKS, virtual machine, SQLDB, or anything else, storage, and so many different things, right? Then we have manage resources, management of cloud resources. Okay, again, when I talk about management, it means there are so many different, it's a very broad area, right? It basically means inside management we can do so many things. We can modify, we can update, we can delete, we can manage it, we can make any kind of changes or any other thing, right? That will be coming inside management. Third, it's quite useful, is basically infrastructure automation. Okay, for example, let's say I want to create 5 virtual machines. Okay, as I said previously also, okay, it's not very easy to go directly every time on the Azure Cloud UI and from there create virtual machines one by one. It's not very easy. But what you can do, you can write this, you can write like a for loop. Okay, I'll show you example also. You can write a for loop and you can give the value at 1 to 5. And here you can write your is_it command to create virtual machine. This means that this Azure CLI command is going to run 5 times because we have used it inside a script of for loop. Okay, in this way you'll be directly able to create 5 virtual machines with different names also, because I'll be showing you this example. Okay, so in this way we can utilize infrastructure automation using Azure CLI. Fourth one, which is one of my favorite, is like cost optimization. Okay, now how we can utilize cost optimization? So let us say that we have inside specific subscription we are having 10 VMs. Okay, so using Azure CLI, first we can get a list of 10 VMs, right? And you know, we have the option to get the output in whatever format we want. Let's say I want to I want the list of 10 virtual machines in table format, so I can get that as well. Okay, so let's say I have the list of 10 virtual machines that are running in a specific subscription of our Azure cloud. After that, what we can do, we can run another AZ CLI command to get usage and cost. So in this way, we'll be able to know which VM or like exactly how much of cost is going there. Okay, right? Now for fifth point. So team, next up what we have is quite interesting, and next up we have, which is basically backup and restore. Okay, now backup and restore can be done of different resources. For example, even for virtual machine we can take a backup, or later on we can restore it. Then for databases we can take backup and we can restore it, and this also can be done using Azure CLI. Okay, sixth one, which is also another very important thing, okay, which is known as security and access management. Okay, So obviously when we have Azure cloud, we do not want that everyone should be having complete access, right? We want that different users who should be having different level of permission. For example, someone with less experience should be having just read only access. So those things also we can do. Okay, for example, we can create policies using using Azure CLI, Azure CLI, and then we can assign roles. Okay, using Azure role, we can assign different roles to different users. Okay, or even for service principal we can do the same thing. So yeah, these are some of the general use cases that are quite widely used. There are so many different use cases also. There could be like different scenarios, but these are some use cases that are one of the most widely used. Okay, now let's jump on to hands-on and let's see how we can set up Azure CLI and how we can start like creation and management of resources. Okay, so team, now let us understand how we can get started with Azure CLI commands. Okay, so there are multiple ways to start running the CLI, Azure CLI commands, but first place where you should be trying is the Cloud Shell. Okay, this is the Azure Cloud Portal page. So you have to simply go on portal.azure.com, log in with the same email with which you have created the account on Azure portal. Once you have done that, you can simply go to this icon which is for Cloud Shell. Click on that. If you are doing this for the first time, then you might be getting some pop-up for two options. One option is that to use storage account. Okay, second option will be like that key no storage account, or like that no storage account. What exactly is the difference between these two? So whatever commands you are running, whatever files you are using, if you want to save them, then you have to make sure that you are using storage account. If not, if you just want to run temporary commands and don't want to save any of those, then you can simply go with no storage account. Okay, other than that, third option will be there where you have to select your subscription. Okay, these three things once you select, then it will take you to this location. Okay, this page. Okay, once you do this, then whatever your user is there, with which you'll be able to see this portal. Okay, we can take it a little bit bigger, and from here you can run different Azure CLI commands. For example, I can simply run @help just to confirm that it is running, or Azure CLI commands are running or not. Okay, and then we can see that it is running fine, and we are able to get the output for @help command. Okay, so this is one of the ways from where you can run the Azure CLI commands, right? Most of the commands usually we run from here itself. Another place from where we will be running these commands can be from anywhere, can be on Linux machine, can be on Windows machine as well. So for running this from Windows machine, what we can do, we have to install Azure CLI. Okay, and we can run Azure CLI download, and then it will take you to this first link. Click on that, and here you'll be able to see where exactly you want to install. So if you want to install on Windows, you need to click on this, which is going to let you download a MSI package. Okay, where is it? Click on install. Yeah, so based on your architecture of Windows machine, you can select. So for me it's going to be 64-bit. I can click on that, and it's going to start downloading this package. Okay, we can see here it's in progress now. Okay, similarly, if you want to install it on Mac OS, you can go with this. If you want to install it on Ubuntu, you can use the commands with apt, or you can even directly run in a Docker container as well. Okay, so once this is installed, you can go to your download location where it will be there. And previously I downloaded, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to double click on this, and I'm going to install it now. Okay, just provide all the information, and let's wait for this. This may take few minutes, but once it is done, then you can get started by running the commands. Okay, meanwhile, let me show you how you can install it on Ubuntu machine or any other Linux machine. Okay, so team, in order to set up Azure CLI on a virtual machine, what I can do, first of all, I can create a virtual machine. Okay, click on launch instance. I'm creating on AWS side. Okay, you can provide any name to your server. I'm going to create Ubuntu machine. Instance type will be T2 medium, and key pair we can select. Sorry about that. Click on launch instance, provide a name as server, Ubuntu machine. Select the instance type, which is going to be T2 medium. Key pair we can select, security group, the general security group that we have. And then storage you can give. I'm going to go with 20. Click on launch instance, and let's connect to this. machine is created, I guess. Okay, it's taking some time to pop up here. Okay, so this is the machine that we have created. We can connect to this, copy the public IP address and open the MOBAX term, and then we can connect to it. Let me just rename this existing session. Change the IP address, because the only thing that is different is the IP address. Rest private key is same only. Okay, and we can double click on this. Okay, now first command that we should run, sudo apt update, and let's wait for all the packages to be updated, so that whatever package are available, they will be like available for usage actually. Okay, so let's wait for this. We can check the status here that Azure CLI got installed on our Windows machine. So we can click on finish. And now what we can do, we can try to go on Visual Studio Code or any other terminal that you have. You can utilize that as well. Okay, I'll remove this, and now we can click on terminal, click on new terminal. Okay, and yeah, now we have opened a terminal. Now what we can do, we can check first that Azure CLI is installed or not. So for that we can run the command as @help. Okay, and let's wait for this. We can see here that @help working fine. That means we are able to we have installed Azure CLI, right? We can get the steps for installation. You can go to this link, and there you'll be able to find. You can simply click on Linux, like install on Linux, and here you can click on install Azure CLI. And here there are multiple options to install. You can simply copy this command, which is the first one, and then you can run this command on your Linux machine. It's going to install Azure CLI. Okay, let's see if we have any other command that we need to run. Okay, so this is fine, and it is also installed. So team, in order to log in from your AWS EC2 created instance, it's not easy if you run the command login, because you can see you'll be getting some error because it's not designed to work in that way. So you have to run the command login use service code. So click enter, and here what we have to do, we have to open a browser window where we have to put this code. Okay, so I'll copy that, and let us copy the code as well. Okay, here we can put the code, click on next, sign in with the account with which we want to access. Okay, and just okay, now we can go here, and you can see here retrieving tenants and subscription for the selection. Okay, we can see, just click enter. Okay, so now we have logged in with a specific subscription ID. Okay, so that means if you want to log in from your Ubuntu machine or Linux machine, make sure to use this command login -- use device -code. Okay, so team, now on our Windows machine we can run the command as login -- use device -code. This should help us to log into our like account using a browser. Okay, so here we have the URL that we have to paste it in browser. Sorry about that. We have this URL, okay, where we have to put the code, which is this one. So I'll copy this, and here we have to put the code. Okay, click on next, provide the details of your account, then continue. Okay, and once it is done, we can go back to Visual Studio, and you can see here retrieving tenants and subscription for the selection. Okay, just click enter since we don't want to make any changes. Okay, so in this way you'll be able to connect from your Ubuntu machine as well as from your local Windows laptop. Okay, Now let's start with the hands-on part where we are going to utilize Azure CLI to create and manage resources. So let's do that. So team, now we can get started with the hands-on part, and now let's start with the most common commands, which is going to be with respect to the resource groups. Okay. First command that we can run is az group and then list to view how many resource groups are there as of now. Another thing that you should always remember, like when you are running the list command to view the like number of resources and get the list of those things, like we can decide in which format we want. So always what I suggest, in my opinion, best format is table format. So I can write this, and now we can run this command. So I can copy that, paste it here, and run this. Now we should be able to see that we are having 3 resource groups available: network watcher RG, DevOps Shack RG1, and RG1. Okay, right? Talking about next command. So next command, what we can do, we can create resource groups. Okay, how we can do that? So as I told you, the format is going to be az, then what we want to create, right? The resource type, which is group. Okay, then the action is going to be here create. Okay, and then after that we are going to have the other parameter, or basically options. So what are the parameters? So here we are going to use name and the resource group name. So I'm going to give the name as RG2. Okay, one more thing that we have to add here is the location in which you want to create the resource group. So we can put --location. Okay, and one more thing, a very interesting thing I'll tell you, team, like you see double dash we are putting here. Okay, there is a common thing like that, ki if you have something in a word or like multiple words, then you are going to put --, double hyphen. Okay, if you have just some letter, like just let's say single letter or R or F, like that, single letters. Okay, in that case just you have to put single dash. Okay, so here locations, so there are multiple locations. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create the resource group in a location of my the nearest location of mine. Okay, which is going to be Central India. Okay, so this is the command which is going to help us create a resource group. So I can copy this command, paste it here, and let's run this. Okay, so once this is done, you can see it has created. Okay, it has mentioned details also in the proper format, and we can confirm the same thing by going here, refreshing the page. As of now there are 3 resource groups, and let's see how many new resource group gets created. Okay, we are looking for RG2, so let's see that. Okay, and okay, you can see here RG2, which is created using the subscription pay as you go. Okay, so this is good. Okay, let us try one more thing actually. Okay, what I want, the output we got here in JSON format. Let's see if it is possible to get an output in table format for this also. Okay, so I'll run this and create. This time, yeah, it is not going to create new because we are already having this. Let me run it again with new resource group name, which is going to be RG3. Okay, and let's see now. Yeah, so here when you use output table format, then it's just going to give you small details, but if you don't use it, then it's going to give you better detail. Okay, subscription details and all those things. Okay, now let's try with next command, which is going to be for deletion. Okay, so I can run the command az, then group, which is the resource, and then action, which is going to be delete. Okay, --, name, I want to delete resource group as RG3. Okay, here you can see we don't have to provide location, so I can run this command and I can put it here, click enter. You can see there is a prompt coming. Okay, but what about the situation or scenario where I don't want to give prompt? For example, if I'm running this command through some script. Okay, so where if script is running through a pipeline or somewhere, it won't be possible for us to give a answer the prompt like yes and no, right? In that scenario, what we can do, let me exit it. So in that scenario, what we can do, basically, see, we can add some more parameters. What parameter we have to add? First parameter is going to be yes, which is going to avoid the prompt. Basically, directly we are giving the permission here that, okay, go ahead and delete the resource. Okay, that another thing that you can add here, for example, I can add no-wait. What it's going to do? So basically, when you run this delete command to delete any specific resource, usually it will wait for it to complete, and but we don't want that. It should be waiting for it to complete. Instead it should move to next command. Okay, so for that you can add -- no wait. So click enter, and now it's going to delete the resource group. Okay, now we can confirm that by going here. Let me refresh the page, and let's see what happens. Okay, now you can see it deleted. But you know one thing you remember, key even though the command was not completed, still it just gave me immediately back to terminal. Why that? Because of this no wait. So it's not going to wait for it. For example, let's say if I put this away, click enter. Okay, sorry about that. Let's say I want to delete the RG2, and let's see what happens now. Now you can see here it's giving output. It's giving real-time output that it is happening. That means here, since we have removed the no wait, that means here we can see the progress. Okay, but this is quite useful when you want to execute this process through a script or inside a pipeline. Okay, and now RG2 has been deleted, but yeah, we need to have a few more groups just for practice. So I'll just create this. Okay, so this is one command that we can do. Next command that I wanted to show you is like view the resources that we have inside resource groups. Okay, or we can get details about resource groups. How we can get details about resource groups? We can run the command az group, sorry about that, show, then name of the resource group. Okay, so I want to get details of resource group, which is going to be this one. So I'll copy this and I will paste it here, and let us run this. Okay, and I want details of this resource group, but into the format of a table. So I can put output table, and let us run this command. And let us see. So here basic detail we got, which is like location of the resource group and name of the resource group. Okay, that is one thing. Now let's say I want to view the resources that exist inside this resource group. So for that, what command we can run? We can run the command as let me run it this side so that you can see it clearly. Az resource list. Basically what I'm saying, I want to view the number of resources or whatever resources we are having inside a resource group. Then -- resource group, then name of the resource group, which is going to be this one. Let's say I want to see the resources that are existing inside this resource groups. Okay, and I want the results to be printed inside table format. So I can run this command now, and let's see what happens. Here you can see as of now we are having two resources existing inside the resource group DevOps Stack RG1. Okay, location we are getting, type we are getting, as well as the name of resources we are getting. Okay, same thing we can confirm also by going here, and we should be able to see resources present here. Okay, you can see two resources are present as of now. Okay, so this is the basic commands. So team, next command which is quite important is like this question is also asked in many times in interviews, is like how we can move resources between different resource groups. For example, let's say I have two resources in my resource group, which is going to be, let's say, yeah, this one, DevOps Stack. So we have two resources here. So I want to move these resources from resource group DevOps Stack -RG1 to RG2 or RG1. Okay, how we can do that? So for that we have to run the command az resource move, then the resource group name where you want to move, then the IDs of the resource which we have to put here. Okay, so first let us fetch the IDs, and I want to fetch the ID for this web app, and we can get it. You can click on this JSON view. From here you can directly get the ID. So copy that and we can paste it here, and after that second resource ID, which is going to be, let me get this one, For this also same thing we can do. In order to get the ID, click on JSON, copy the ID and just paste it here. Okay, so we have got the ID, and we are also decided like we want to move these two resources inside resource group 1. So now what I can do, let me paste the command here as well so that we can use it in documentation, and here we can add it. Now let's see what happens. Okay, and yeah, you can see the progress here. It has started and it may take some time to complete. Okay, and same thing we can get here also. We can like get the progress here. I can refresh the page and we can see in some time those two resources will be gone from a DevOps stack RG1. Okay, now this is like moving resources from one resource group to another may take some time. Okay, so since the command has been executed and we can verify the changes by going into here, I can refresh the page and let's see what happens now. So this is supposed to show that those two resources are not present in this resource group now, and they have been moved. You can see here it says no resource match your filters. So we can go back and we can go to the resource group to which we have moved it, which is RG1. And let's see, you can see here those two resources are moved into resource group 1, RG1. Okay, so in this way you can move resources from one resource group to other resource group. Okay, so team, now let's try something different thing. So see, I have shown you like how you can write command, but let's say we are not very good at writing commands. So what we can do, we can enable AZ interactive, which is going to help us write the commands very easily. Okay, so you can type the command AZ interactive and then just wait for this to complete. It's basically installing the interactive extension, and I don't want to send anything. Okay, and yeah, it's almost completed. Basically, as I discussed before, that it's going to help you write the command by just completing the whatever command you write. Okay, so now we have AZ interactive enabled. So first thing that we can run, AZ account list then output table. Sorry about that. Okay, I can select table and click enter. So we have this subscription. Okay, subscription ID we have. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this subscription ID now, and we can do that AZ then account set. One more thing, you can see here very clearly how multiple options we are getting, using which we can write the commands easily. Okay, then -- subscription I want to add, and then the subscription ID, which is going to be this one. Okay, click enter, and now subscription has been set up. Now what we can do, we can try to create a resource. Okay, let's say I want to create a resource group. What we can do, we can write AZ group create. Okay, and -- name. Let's say I'm going to give the resource group name as RG5, and which is I want to provide location as well, which is going to be central. Okay, central India, but you can see easily it gives us options. Okay, so I can click enter and let's see. So team, in this way you'll be able to utilize the AZ interactive. You can see how useful it can be. If you want to come out of this terminal, you can press Ctrl D, and let's wait for this. We are now out of the AZ interactive terminal. Okay, now we can go ahead and create other resources that we want. Okay. Now let's try to create app service and web app. Okay, so for web app to be created, first we are going to create a free tier app service plan. For that we have to run the command AZ app service, because that's what we want to create. Then action, which is going to be create, the name that we want to provide, then resource group inside which we want to create. Okay, so let's say I want to give the name, it's going to be shack here, and resource group in which I want to create, it's going to be RG1. Okay, Rest things will be same. F1 is for like free service, free tier. I'll copy this and I can run it here, and let's see if we get an error or something like that. Okay, and yeah, I guess it has created, so we can just confirm by going to the document, and here in the RG1 we have 2 resources from previous. We can refresh this page to see what details we are having. Okay, this is supposed to show if those those services are created or not, and yeah, let's see. Okay, so the app service plan has been created. Okay, next step is to create the web app, and I want to create it for the Node.js based application. For that we can write is it web app create resource. This is the resource, this is the action, then where we want to create, which is the resource group name, plan. So in plan we have to provide the app service plan that we just created previously, and then name of the web app. Okay, so here first I'll change the resource group, which is going to be RG1, and this also we need to change the app service plan because our app service plan is named this one, right? So I'll change that, and then you have to just provide a name for your web app, which you can put whatever you want, and then we can provide the runtime stack. In our case we are going with Node.js 18 LTS version, so I can copy this and I can run this as well. Okay, and okay, we are getting some error. Let's verify the commands. I'll plan this. So can I, maybe I'll try with different name. It's taking a little more time because creation of these resources is quite lengthy task actually. Okay, so let's wait for this to complete. Meanwhile, we can go here, refresh the resource group just to confirm. Okay. Okay, still in progress only. So let's, okay. It seems it has been created, and we can refresh this again so that we can confirm if the web app that we want to create for Node.js LTS 18 tech stack, is it created or not. Okay. And let's wait for this to come up. Okay, here you can see web app has been created. I can open that and we can get rest of the details from this from here. Okay, right? Now next thing we can do is, like, if you want to create delete it, that also we can do. Command is going to be almost same. The only thing that you need to have is the web app name and the resource group from where you want to delete. You can see here it's quite easy command is az web app delete. The only thing that we are specifically changing here is the task or action. Okay, rest, this is the name of the web app is this one, and resource group is this one inside which it exists. Okay, now this will be getting deleted. Remember one more thing, that once you have deleted web app and you have the app service plan existing, so if no other app is being is using app service plan, make sure to delete that as well. Okay, so now we are going to copy the command to delete the app service plan, and then resource group name was RG1. Okay, and we can run the same this command as well to delete the app service plan. Okay, so we can do that. I can run this, and 1 second. See, as I told you previously that in deletion usually a prompt comes. If you don't want the prompt to come, you can put yes -- yes, and this will remove the prompt. So team, now let's do one thing, create virtual machines, which is another important part. Okay, So for creating virtual machines, what we can do is VM create, then resource group where we want to create, location, the name of the virtual machine which you want to give, the image based on which your machine will be created, then admin username we are going to give, and then SSH keys also we want to generate. Okay, and size we can decide. Okay, so let's say I want to create the resource inside resource group 1. Location I want to give as Central India. VM name you can choose whatever you want. Admin username we can set it up to this, and standard B1 size we can utilize to create. Okay, so I can copy this command and I can run this here, and let's see what happens now. You can see here SSH files it has generated. IDRSA and IDRSA public key and private key have been generated on the location. This location it has been created. Okay, and what we can do, we can open this in a different terminal. Here we can go to this location. Sorry, what was the location? CD this. Okay, you can see this IDRSA and IDRSA public, these are created by this command that we have run. So now we can utilize those keys to access our virtual machine that we have created. Okay, so let's wait for this to complete and then I'll show you how we can access it. Now the virtual machine has been created. Okay, so first thing that we can do is refresh the resource group just to confirm that our virtual machine is visible in resource group 1. Okay, once that is done, then we can try to access our virtual machine using the created SSH key pair. You can see here, this is our virtual machine, okay, which is created. Now we can go back here, okay, and we have the SSH key pair here, right? Now we can run the command SSH username, which is the user which we set up while creating the virtual machine. What was it? We just, one second, let me check. It was something like username was Azure user. Okay, so I can put that at the rate the IP address of the machine. Public IP address is this one, so I'll copy that as well, this, and we can try. Okay, we can put yes, and let's see. Okay, now we are able to access the virtual machine that we have created. Okay, if I run this pwd command, currently we are in home/Azure user. Okay, so in this way we can create Azure virtual machine using Azure CLI, and we can access it because we have the public key also created. Okay, just remember this, if you are going to run the command like this, where is the command? This one, SSH. See, I can directly run here because I'm running this command on the folder where the key is present, right? But in case if you want to run it somewhere else, make sure to provide the path of the key. Okay, or else you can just copy the key somewhere else and you can run the command directly there itself. Okay, now I can come out of it. Okay, now let's see what else we can do with respect to this virtual machine. So this is the VM we created, right? Now what we can do, we can try to delete this as well. How we can delete it? We can run the command az VM delete, right? Then name of the VM which we created, which was, where is that? The name that we my VM something like that we gave. One second, yeah, this one. Okay, and the resource group inside which it exists, that we can give as resource group, which was RG1. Okay, and now let's see what happens. See, again I'm saying this option, this prompt that is coming, if you don't want this prompt to come, you should add -- yes in your AZ CLI command, and then this prompt should not be coming. Okay, so let's wait for this to get deleted. This may take some time because there are many other things along with the virtual machine as well. Okay, still we are, see, you can see along with the virtual machine there are other things got created as well. Network interface, virtual network, the network security group. Okay, so let's wait for this. This may take some time. And yeah, it seems that it has completed. We can check it by running the refresh command, and let's see in our resource group if it is deleted or not. Okay, now here is a small problem that you can clearly see, that the virtual machine got deleted, but still the other resources that were created along with that as a dependency part, disk, network security group, public IP address, network interface, virtual network, they're still visible. Okay, let me just refresh it because it may possible that they may take some time to get deleted, but yeah, still just to confirm we can refresh it one more time, and yeah, they are still visible. So that means ki if we don't want to use this same resources again, we can simply delete them as well. Okay, so team, after I created virtual machine and then deleted it, still there are many other resources that requires to be deleted. Okay, so if they are not being used by any other resource, we can delete them. And what I can do here is I can run the command as az group delete and then provide the resource group name. In our case, it's going to be rg1. Okay, and then we can click on enter. So this is supposed to delete the resource group and all the resources within it, and this may take some time, but yeah, let's wait for this to complete. So team, the resources has been deleted along with the resource group itself. Okay, now let us do one thing. Let us create an AKS cluster and then we can manipulate it, like make changes, modify it, and other things we can do. Okay, for that what we have to do, for that we have to run a command like this: az AKS create, that is the general command. After that we have parameters. Inside parameters, what we are having parameter. First we need to define the resource group in which we want to create, name of the AKS cluster, number of worker node that we want, VM size, node VM size, and then SSH keys also we want. Okay, so let us do that. So first let us see resource group that we are having, which is DevOps Stack RG-1. Okay, so before that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a new resource group, which is going to be named az group create -- name, and I want to give the name as rg8, and this will be in location, let's say in central India. Okay, so resource group is created and rg8, and I want to create my cluster inside this resource group, which is rg8. Okay, and cluster name you can choose whatever you want. Let's say I'll choose the cluster name as Shack AKS. Okay, and node count is fine. Yeah, so we can run this and let's see what happens, because this may take quite some time to get created. Okay, so here we see an error that subscription is not registered to use the namespace Microsoft Container Service. Okay, so what we can do, we can run another command which is to register the namespace. Okay, Microsoft Container Service. We can run this and let's see what happens now. Okay, so registering is going on, and let us do one thing. I'll copy this, container service, and we can go here. We can go to resource provider or something like that, this one. So you can go to subscription, pay the subscription which you have opted, then resource providers. Here we can search for this one. You can see the status is in registering. Okay, so let's wait for this to complete, because once this is completed, then we can again try to create the resource. Okay, the AKS cluster. See, these kind of issues will come definitely, but again we have to, once you start practicing, then only you'll see what kind of resource we are getting and how we can fix this. You can see there are tons of different resource providers. Some of them will be required, like mandatory for you to work with, to make sure that they are registered. Okay, and some of them may not be optional. Okay, so team, now we can see the status that it says registered. So what we can do, we can try to create the AKS cluster again, and let's see what happens now. And again, I'm saying that the creation of cluster, it may take quite some time, because creating cluster, it's quite a big thing. So for this issue, it's saying that quota has been like insufficient vCPU quota requested. Okay, so what we can do now is we can try to use a different node VM size. Okay, because B2 something is like quite big VM, I guess. That's why it's giving error. But we can try to use this one, D4S V3, which is quite small, and node count we are using just 1, so it should not be any issue anymore. But yeah, let's see. It says running. Okay, I hope this will be created this time. Okay, but yeah, let's see. So team, it seems that cluster has been created. We can refresh the home page of Microsoft Azure and we can see, let's wait for this. If I go to resource groups, we have new resource group, which is RG8. Okay, I can go here and here we should be able to see our AKS cluster because it is created and we have the logs here that confirms that we have created the cluster. Okay, and this is the cluster we have created, but the question is how do we access it, right? Because eventually if we want to deploy the application, how do we access it, right? So for that, what we have to do, we have to run the command, basically this first. Okay, so we are going to run this. So we are getting this error. What we can do now, we can try to run the same command, but this time we can utilize sudo so that permission issue should not be coming. And let's see what happens now. And here also you can see we are installing version 1.31, okay, which is the latest actually. So once kubectl is installed, next command would be to set up credentials so that we are able to access our cluster. So for that you have to run the command aks get credentials and then resource group name and the cluster name that we have created. Okay, so aks kubectl is installed. We can run this command now. Okay, now I can run the command as kubectl get nodes. And here you can see we have one worker node as of now, right? Here version of the node we are having 1.29.8. Okay, so and we can get other details also, kubectl get ns. These are the namespaces present. Okay, so now we have successfully able to connect to our Kubernetes cluster. Okay, but let's say I want to modify this. I want to modify the cluster. Let's say then what we can do. Okay, team, we have created the cluster and it's working fine. The thing is that we have created just one worker node. Okay, and I want to create a more worker node. So what we can do, we can run a command something like this, where we are going to use the action as scale, which is going to increase the number of worker node. Okay, here we can provide the resource group name, which is RG8 in our case. And then let me just correct this indentation, everything. The cluster name that we have is 𝗀𝗃_aks. Sorry about that. Yeah, and then node count. So here you can decide how many worker nodes you want. So I want worker node to be 2. As of now we are having 1, so I want to have 2, so I can run this command to scale the cluster. And let us run this and let's see what happens now. Again, for it to get executed, it might take some time because it's going to like add a new worker node. Okay, so it has started and this may take like few minutes, so we'll wait for that. So here you can see the command that we run to add one more worker node has been done. Okay, and if I run the command, this one, kubectl get nodes, we should be able to see this time 2 worker node. You can see one was created 14 minutes ago and another one was created 3 minutes ago. Okay, so this is quite interesting, and this is how you can create worker node and you can like modify it using scale. Okay, next thing that we can do is basically delete the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so for that, what we have to do, again we can use the simple command, which is az_aks delete. Okay, we can run the command az_aks, it's stuck or what, sorry about that. Yes, delete yeah, az_aks delete. Okay, so here we have defined resources aks and action is delete. Next, name is going to be, and name we have 𝗀𝗃_aks, then hyphen. Okay, let's try to run this command and let's see if it requires anything else also. Okay, so it requires resource group and we can add that resource dash group, which is going to be RG8. Okay, and let's see. Okay, so it's asking prompt, and as I've told you, if you don't want prompt, you can add hyphen yes. Okay, and okay, So it has started, and this is going to delete the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so this might take some time, so we will wait for it. So team, just to confirm that our cluster has been deleted, we can click on Kubernetes services, and here you can see no Kubernetes services to display because we have already deleted, and this was the name, right? So if I just refresh the page, this should also be gone. Let's wait for this. Okay, now you can see it's not visible now. Okay, so yeah, this is how we can utilize Azure CLI in different ways, and there are much more use cases as well. I have shown you some of the important ones which you can utilize. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching and have a nice day.